Greetings, beautiful earthlings. My name is Star. If you are new here, I don't know how you found me, but I'm super grateful to have you. And if you are returning, y'all, the real MVP, you already know. Today, my friends, I wanted to do something to kind of celebrate like how big some of my videos have been getting. So for those of you guys who have been with me for quite a while, you know that a video that I did almost a year ago now, looks like 9 months ago, is getting pretty substantial in views. It looks like it is approaching 7.5 thousand views now, and that is my comparing the real light seers with the fake light seers. And that one, I was really excited to do it because I was really disappointed about getting the fake light seers, and I was just so stoked about it. So that's why I had decided to make that video at one point in time. It was because I wanted to address the knockoff tarot deck industry for those of you guys who might not know anything about it, or for those of you guys who, like me and so many others, kind of got scammed into getting a fake deck, and it was by somebody that you either really trusted, or a shop that you really trusted, or, you know, like just any number of things can happen when you get a knockoff tarot deck. They are so easy to get your hands on, and they're oftentimes advertised as like a mini deck with a PDF download of the book, or, you know, I've even come across a tarot reader on YouTube that I will leave unnamed. I'm not trying to start any drama, but this tarot reader does sell knockoff tarot decks in their shop, and at a ridiculous markup too, I might add. So I've just been seeing a lot of traction on the knockoff tarot deck industry, and I've seen so much going on with Amazon promoting knockoff tarot decks as, you know, like the Amazon's choice. I've seen it more than one time with not only the Modern Witch, but also the Light Seers knockoffs as well. Now, you know, they're promoting the knockoff oracle decks and whatnot as Amazon's choice because they are cheaper and people buy often, and people give them really high ratings on Amazon because they're just so thrilled about their deck, and they don't realize that it's actually a knockoff deck, and, you know, they're giving good reviews to something that should not be getting the good reviews. So if you guys are unaware of what I'm talking about here with knockoff tarot decks, we are speaking about knockoff, bootlegs, pirated, fake tarot decks. Yes, fakes exist in every industry, and tarot and oracle decks are no exception. So I did make quite a few videos a while back about the knockoff tarot deck industry and the knockoff tarot decks that I had gotten. And since then, these videos that I made are getting so much traction. I'm getting comments every single day on these videos, and it's really frustrating to get like the same questions over and over, and it just seems like no one's reading the comments on these videos and, you know, doing any type of research on the things that they're getting. So I wanted to address some questions or comments on these videos that I had gotten that I feel kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? That I feel are representative of other comments. Okay, so like I said, these videos are getting pretty big, quite a few views, quite a few thousand views. So I sent myself some screenshots of these comments. I will try my best in editing to include them in the actual video so that you guys can see them. But that's what I have here. That's why I keep looking down. I have my laptop here, so I'm going to be reading from these comments. So as I said, as of today, or at least last night, the most viewed videos that I have is my Light Seers video, and then you see there's the top 10, my comparing my Rider-Waite decks, and then my review of the Light Seers. And then another one that's starting to gain traction as well is my video called The Knockoff Tarot Deck Industry Needs to Be Stopped. So we're not going to be talking about the top 10 video or the comparing the Rider-Waite videos. We're going to be addressing comments from the real versus fake Light Seers video, the Light Seers review, and the knockoff tarot deck industry needs to be stopped video, because I get comments daily on these videos. I'm trying so hard, you guys, to genuinely address these comments as they come in. Some of them are just kind of ridiculous. Some of them are just really rude and like pointed at me, so I don't comment on them. I don't like them. I don't dislike them. I just leave them there because, you know, they're generating attention, so they're doing their job. But I understand that not everyone has the same views when it comes to knockoff tarot decks, okay? I understand that not everybody has accessibility to authentic tarot decks. We're going to be addressing that in a comment here. And since I made those videos quite a few months ago, my views have kind of changed on knockoff tarot decks, and I just want to kind of talk about that today. So this one is going to be kind of a lengthy video. I hope you guys are okay with that. I know some of you guys are completely fine with my longer videos, and some of you probably already clicked off by now, and that's totally fine. So let's go ahead and jump in here. I don't have these in any particular order. I just kind of screenshotted them as I saw them, and I want to talk about them. So the first one is coming from that real versus fake video. This says, I actually didn't know they made fake decks. Now I'm checking my other decks for authenticity, looking at them sideways. And the reason that I took a picture of this one is because this is a very common comment that I get on these videos. So the reason that I have that one here is because I do want to just address, for those of you guys who don't know anything about knockoff tarot decks or haven't watched my videos or don't care to watch my other videos, there are a couple really easy ways that you can spot your knockoff tarot deck, even if you do get it from Amazon. So there is another comment that I got which kind of sparked me wanting to do this video. I don't think I took a picture of it because it's one of those longer ones, but when you are looking at the reviews of your deck on Amazon, on Etsy, on anything, they will usually take pictures. Not only will the actual listing have pictures of it, but the people who are reviewing it will never be shy to post videos, pictures, and comments about it. So the things that you're going to be looking for in your deck to authenticate it are going to be an ISBN number underneath the with the barcode at the bottom of the deck. Usually your authentic decks will have that in some capacity, always. And your knockoff tarot decks will not. So I actually ran and just grabbed them for you guys to show you. This one is the real Light Seers box. As you can see on the back, there is a barcode with an ISBN number. Again, all authentic decks will have that, whether they are sold online or at bookstores. No matter where you're getting them from, your authentic deck will have that barcode with the ISBN number, even all the way down to mini decks. Yes, mini decks do exist. The real ones that are actual authentic mini decks will have that barcode with the ISBN number. This is the fake Light Seers box. As you can see, there is no barcode, there is no ISBN number, there was no book, and it has a QR code download for the book there. So this is indicative across the board of knockoff tarot decks. I know a lot of people keep asking me to identify if their tarot decks are real or not. Please, my friends, you guys can do this. It's as easy as this. There's no reason you need to ask a random person on the internet and wait for their response. This is your answer. That ISBN, that barcode, that's your answer. As you guys can see, I did this before. I showed you the differences in the box and the deck and everything. So if you haven't seen that real versus fake Light Seers video, I will link it below for you guys so that you can watch it. But that's what I did want to bring up with that comment, because I get that a lot now, where people are like, oh, I can't tell if my deck's real or not, or the cardstock on my deck isn't very good, I think it's fake. That has nothing to do with anything. You have to remember that the people who created the deck created the cardstock for whatever reason, right? They liked it, they wanted it to last longer, they went the cheaper route, whatever. There are millions of things that go into the creation of the cardstock and the box and the book with your authentic decks. So just because you're not the biggest fan of your cardstock, of your authentic deck, does not make it a fake deck. There are lots of people saying this deck had a crappy flip-top box like that one, so it must be fake. I have shown you guys in other videos that there are authentic decks that come with a flip-top box. For example, we've got a couple of them here. These are mini decks. Yes, they are real mini decks. They are marketed as mini decks because the creators actually made a mini version of the deck. So here you have the Angels of Light Oracle by Diana Cooper. There's that barcode, there's your ISBN. This one did not have a book, but there are cards in there that act as the book. Then you've got the Llewellyn's Classic Tarot. This one also did not have a book, for the reason that the Llewellyn's Classic Tarot has a real big book they want you to buy. So there's your barcode, there's your ISBN. Yes, it's a crappy flip-top box. Again, here's your mini Rider Tarot. There's your barcode, there's your ISBN. This one did in fact come with a little book. Your Rider Waits will always have a little book in there. And my last example is your Tarot of Pagan Cats. There's your barcode and your ISBN. Again, crappy flip-top box. Yes, Lo Scarabeo will always give you a book. So just because you guys have a crappy flip-top little cigarette box for your deck does not mean that it is fake. If you have that barcode, if you have that ISBN, if it was marketed as a mini, if it was sold by the actual artist or publisher of that deck, and if it had a book. But again, you guys, I tell you this all the time, please do your research, because there will be decks like the Llewellyn's Classic Mini and the Angels of Light Oracle that do not have a book. They just don't, and that doesn't mean that it's a fake. It's still authentic. It's still sold by the actual artist, the actual publisher, and it still has all of the things in there that it should. Okay, so I know that this is a lot more work than a lot of people want to go into to look at an authentic deck, and that's kind of the point of what I wanted to bring up here. Is if you guys are going to be buying decks, if you care, okay, that's the whole thing here, is if you care. If you don't care where your deck is coming from, if you don't care where that money is going, if you don't care who you're supporting, then you can disregard everything that I'm saying. I'm not here to shame you guys in any form or fashion, and I'm not here to gatekeep the tarot community and tell you that if you don't have an authentic deck, it's not going to work for you. So I am going to address that again in other comments, but I did just kind of want to show that to you guys. That's why I brought that comment up first. So the next one that I have here says, I have the real one, but definitely buying the knockoff, being I'm sure it's easier to shuffle as my real copy. The cardstock is so stiff it causes my fingers to bleed, and because of that, I've never been able to enjoy this beautiful deck. Glad I found this video. So this one irked me, and there was actually a video that you guys never got to see that I created. It was a big rant about comments like this, because I did not create these videos to show you that there was an alternate option. But again, I've calmed down a lot about it. I've cooled down. I don't mean to be gatekeepy or preachy. That's not my intention at all. And as you guys know, yes, I do have the real and the fake light seers, as well as the Oracle of the Mermaids and the Work Your Light Oracle. I have the real and fake of all of those. And this is how all of this started, because I did not know that fakes and knockoffs were a thing. Like many of you guys, you'll get them from a sale, you'll get them from a trusted shop or a trusted friend, and you don't realize what it is you're getting. You just think you're getting a really great deal on a tarot deck. So this happens oftentimes where I will see it go backwards, not where someone bought the fake and was like, oh my god, this is fake, I need to go get the real one. Where they actually have the real one and they decide they want the fake instead because of the fact that they don't like the cardstock, or they don't like how big the cards are, or you know, whatever. It happens all the time. I see this comment all the time, and again, I had to really calm myself down on this whole situation because it was a big deal to me. So the reason that I put this comment in there is because this, you know, again, this is something that I get all the time, where people are like, this deck isn't this deck isn't, you know, what I wanted as far as cardstock, or I can't work with this cardstock. And you guys know that I have done a video about, you know, how to shuffle decks that are way too large for you, or way too thick, or the cardstock is too hard. And to me, these all seem like very little annoyances that are just way too many excuses that add up to just making it okay to buy a knockoff tarot deck. Now, again, I'm trying to really slow myself down on how I'm wording these things, because I know there are people in certain places, in certain situations, that cannot get the authentic deck. So I do understand these things. But to me personally, to be in a place like America where you do have the option between clicking the cheaper one or clicking the real one, and, you know, not doing it because you don't like this, and this, you're, you know, to me, that's nitpicking, and you're just making too many excuses to make it okay to buy the knockoff. Again, if you don't care, that's fine. There's no reason for you to really even be watching this or really even have anything to say unless you're just here to argue, because I just want to bring attention to this industry and to these comments and these questions that come up often. And one last point that I want to make on this comment before I go to the next one. I know this kind of seems like I'm berating this person, and I'm really not intending to at all. Like, I'm really trying to stay open-minded and just chill on the comments here. But I don't believe that someone is forcing themselves to shuffle a deck so hard that their fingers bleed. I don't. I feel like this is a drastic dramatization just to make a point. I feel like this is extreme hyperbole. I don't feel like this is real, because even, you know, if you're playing guitar or something and your fingers hurt and you get calluses and things like that, yes, you push that, and you got to push it pretty damn far for your fingers to bleed. So yes, you guys, I've been doing tarot for, you know, almost 5 years now, and every time I shuffle a deck, if I'm shuffling so extensively that my fingers hurt, I stop. Never have I been like, I need to shuffle this deck. I need to shuffle this deck. Never have I pushed myself so hard that I got cuts on my fingers, that my fingers bled. So again, this is what I have to say about like really ridiculous comments. Some of these just really come out of left field, and it seems like they're just there for argument's sake and to just have their voice heard on something they don't think is a big deal. Because I get those comments all the time on these videos as well. It's not that big of a deal. They're just cards. You're extremely biased. You're blah, 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 blah. I get those comments all the time. Again, those are things I don't address because this is my video. This is a point I want to make. This is something I feel is important to talk about. And you came to my video to watch that just to start an argument. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to go ahead, digress, and just switch the comment here because there are good comments, I promise. This has been a little bit stressful to do because I do have my baby child in here on the bed and she's all over the place. So if there's tons of cuts, I really apologize, guys. The next one that I have here says, I have a question. Can I still use the knockoff deck? Is it a problem if I use it to talk to my spirit guides or deities? No, it's not. And I did address this in quite a few different videos as well, but it's something that comes up often, and it's something that I feel like needs to be readdressed. There are tons of people who make their own tarot decks. You can get index cards or blank cards and write words on them and use that for divination. There is no... like, you got to remember, things of the material world are not real in the astral realm. Your guides are not going to go, ugh, you're using a fake tarot deck? Ugh. No, I'm not talking to you. That's not real, guys. It's not. And it's really sweet. I know that it comes from brand new beginners, and I know that there's a lot of gatekeeping, especially on platforms like TikTok, where they do tell you you need this real deck or you're not a real tarot reader. You guys got to remember, people started reading tarot with playing cards that turned into Lenormand, and these things have been modified millions and millions and billions of times since, you know, however many centuries ago. There is no right or wrong when it comes to tarot. There's not. And people like me on the internet will have a very strong opinion on one side or the other, but that doesn't mean that there is a right or a wrong, okay? If you are in a position where your only option for some reason is to buy a knockoff, like you can't wait to buy a real one, or you just feel such an intense calling to this deck, but you don't have the money and blah, 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 blah. There are so many things that people tell me about why they've bought a knockoff tarot deck. Again, you guys, I am not the all-knowing you know, guru of tarot. I know that I have a tarot channel, but that doesn't mean that you guys need permission from me to buy a knockoff tarot deck. And I just wanted to bring attention to the industry for those people who don't know, who, you know, got swindled into having a knockoff and weren't aware of, you know, anything about it, didn't know where the money was going, things like that, because there are tons of people who genuinely think their money is still going to the artist, that these third-party sellers work with the artist in some capacity, and that the, you know, the reviews and the money and the praise are going to the artist, and they're not. So that's why I brought these things up. That's why I made these videos. It had nothing to do with me, you know, gatekeeping or telling you guys that one way is right over the other. Because I promise you, sweetheart, if you use a fake tarot deck, your guides will still talk to you. If you use a crystal ball or a bowl of water or a candle fire or a pendulum or literally nothing but meditation or just a single rock you found outside of your door, your guides will still talk to you. There is absolutely no gatekeeping in the astral realm, you guys. They don't care what tools you're using. Yes, they may guide you to learn and use tools, but there is no reason that you need them for divination and for communication and for your craft or anything, okay? I promise you guys, you can still do these things without a $30 fancy tarot deck. I personally feel very strongly about certain things, okay? So that's why I make videos about them. So this next one that I have here is that I had no idea there were knockoff tarot decks. I just ordered the authentic one. Thanks for sharing. And I'm actually sad because I trusted the shop I purchased my deck from. And I put this one in here because it happens a lot. It's very easy and very cheap for small businesses to buy tarot decks in bulk made from China. I know this because that's where I got my knockoff tarot decks, was a once trusted friend who had a small business and told me all about the things that they did to, you know, get these tarot decks. It's cheaper to order them in bulk. They can even get some money knocked off if they buy lots of them and are repeat customers. So yeah, sometimes you're gonna trust someone and they give you a knockoff and they don't tell you it's a knockoff. They're not going to, because they're making money from you. And just because they are your friend or they are your family doesn't mean that that comes before the business. If it did, they would have told you. And this happens a lot. And that's why I wanted to bring attention to it, because it's so many people in so many groups, in so many videos, on so many platforms that say, I really trusted the person that gave me this deck or that sold me this deck, or, you know, they had so many in their shop. I thought there's no way they could be knockoffs. There's so many of them. Like, it's not that hard, because you're getting a cheaper deck, so they're getting a cheaper deck. Does that make sense? They can sell it to you at a ridiculous markup. Like I said, there is a tarot reader on the platform that does that. And they make a lot of money from it because they're using those decks to do their readings. So you see them using them and you go, wow, I really like that deck. I can buy it from their shop. And that's how that works. And just because you trust them and you trust the advice they're giving and you trust their readings, or, you know, whatever, you're going to buy it from them because you trust them. That doesn't mean that you trust them as a business person, because you don't particularly know the things that they're skimming off the sides to make their business work. Does that make sense? Like, I know as a business person, and I know tons of business people that make lots of little cuts here and there and mark things up to make a profit. And that's just how business works. So you have to understand that even though you're their friend or you're, you know, their family or whatever, that's not going to come before the business. It's just not. Your relationship with that person and your business is always going to be separate. And, you know, if they really genuinely did feel bad about sending you a knockoff, they would either tell you, hey, this isn't really the authentic one, or this might be lower quality, or, you know, I'll give it to you at a cheaper price because I feel bad it's lower quality, something like that. I promise you guys, if you really genuinely have a good connection with that person, they won't keep that from you, that they got that deck a little bit cheaper because it's not exactly the greatest quality. So let me find my next comment here. This one says, I got the fake one for Christmas and it's also my first deck. It worked really well for me, but I want the real one. And I think I'm gonna buy it because I want to support the artist. Thanks for the video. So I love this comment because people often get gifted decks, and again, people who don't know anything about tarot will just kind of go for the cheaper option. They don't know anything about it. They might not particularly care. They just know you like this thing, you want this thing, I'm gonna buy it for you. Oh, there's a sale price, I'll buy that one. So again, it doesn't have any effect on the cards, it doesn't have any effect on the divination, it doesn't have any effect on the reading. And you know, if you use them until you can get the money for a real one, if you really do want the real one, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and that's what I did with mine. I waited until I could get the money for the real one, and I did also get gifted the real ones after I had gotten my fake ones. So again, I just really love that this one was in there, and I wanted to put it in there as kind of a shout out, because there are lots of people that say the same thing, and they're like, I didn't realize I had this one, I want to support the artist, I'm gonna send my fake back, or I'm gonna buy theirs too, or I don't mind having both, or I can make art projects out of this one, things like that. And I don't want you guys to feel, again, like I'm making these videos for gatekeeping or to shame you or to make you feel bad about which deck you got. Was never my intention. I promise. I just get really super passionate about things, and I want to say what I have to say, and I've learned to kind of sit on my ideas before I make videos with them now because of that reason, because I have made some very heated videos that don't make for the best content in the long run, aren't the best, word wise and things like that. So this one is one that I wanted to address about the fakes in different countries. So this comment says, I feel very disappointed because I purchased knockoff decks not knowing they exist. I mean, I was skeptical, but I live in the Middle East and I have no access to metaphysical shops. Amazon doesn't even ship here. So when I found tarot on an app that does, I got excited and I kind of just ignored and assumed they were cheaper versions. I can't help but feel disconnected and upset, honestly, and I'm discouraged from tarot. So I wanted to point this one out because this is maybe the second or third comment I have gotten like this. So again, there is no right, there is no wrong, you guys. And if you're in a position where you're in a different country and you can't buy anything, but you can buy, the knockoff, or you can make your own, it has zero effect on your divination whatsoever. It has zero effect on your communication with your guides. Remember, in divination and witchcraft and communication, it is all about you and your intention and what you're doing within yourself, and your shadow work and your meditation and your communication with your higher realms. Okay, these, at the end of the day, yes, they are just pieces of paper. They are just pieces of cardboard. And I know I had kind of a strong opinion toward people that said that in the comments because they're coming to my video to say things like that. But at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing in the world. I understand the feeling of being so drawn to a tarot deck that you're having dreams about it, having dreams about working with it, and you can't stop thinking about it, and you're watching videos about it, and it's all you can think about, and you feel like, man, this thing is just going to help my divination so much. I understand that completely because that is how I have bought some of my tarot decks. But I want you guys to understand that I never, ever, with anything that I say, I do not mean to deter you from tarot or divination or craft work because of the tools that you have. I am not that type of person. I am not that type of witch. I am not that type of anything at the end of the day. And I just want you guys to have fun with what you're doing. And I want you to have a safe place to talk about these things and to ask your questions and not feel judged, okay? So for these people, I say this because there's multiple comments like this where they feel deterred or disconnected and upset because they realize their deck is fake. I did go back and comment on those ones. That was not my intention, and just use your deck. It's okay. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And the people who are going to tell you that it is a big deal and shame you about your deck are basically being mean girls, being Regina George, telling you that if you're not using this brand, you're not doing it right, okay? And I know being on TikTok, it happens all over the place. There's so much like bullying and just stupid stuff that goes on around names and labels and the real and the fake. And you know, that's why I wanted to do this video, because I want to bring new, fresh breath into this conversation, okay? Because these videos that I did were months and months and months ago, and I felt so much differently then than I do now about it, especially talking with people who cannot get these decks in their countries, or people who are doing this in the closet, or people who, you know, got gifted something and they just feel so terrible that they can't use it because it's fake. Things like that. You guys don't. Who cares? Genuinely, who cares? If people do care and they tell you you're doing it wrong and that you're a bad person because you're using a fake, you don't need that person in your life. I can guarantee they're going to go home at the end of the day and not think about what they said to you ever again. But you will, and that's going to mess your head up forever. Don't let it, you guys, because this stuff doesn't matter. These material things do not matter, okay? And that's why I wanted to bring fresh life into this conversation, because I just see so many people stumbling on this video of mine thinking that like this is still my view on this, because I made this video, I made it 9 months ago. I've changed a lot in 9 months. My views have changed a lot in 9 months, and I've had tons and tons of experiences and conversations in that 9 months that changed my views about this. And although I personally will not be blatantly buying a knockoff for any reason, that doesn't mean you can't or you shouldn't, right? I understand both sides of the coin. I do, and that's what makes this conversation on my channel so hard to do and so hard to have, okay? This next one that I wanted to bring up, this one's from 6 months ago, and I think this is on a different video. I can't see the video that I put it on. I think it's my Knockoff Tarot Deck Industry Needs to Be Stopped video. This one says, "Thank you. I definitely did not know that about the Romance Angel deck, and I will be keeping my eye out for more of these things." So there are certain decks that have been discontinued by the artist a long time ago that you can only get in knockoff form now, unless you are willing to pay $300, $500, upwards of $1,000 for a tarot deck, which I know most people will not do unless they are extreme collectors who do have the resources to do this kind of thing, okay? So again, a lot of Doreen Virtue stuff, you guys know Doreen Virtue, you know, was a huge name in the tarot and oracle deck industry. She wrote tons and tons of books, and when she decided to give all of that up and rededicate herself to her religion, she told the entire industry, burn all of my decks, burn all of my books, stop reading my stuff, stop using those things. I don't have that stance anymore and I want them gone. And that's why so many people have not only started collecting her things, because it's such a big thing that happened in the tarot deck industry, but these things are so very rare now that you can't find that original one in the box, the real authentic one, still packaged. Most of the ones you get today, if they're authentic Doreen Virtue decks, they will be used in some capacity. And the only way that you can get those decks now at a price that is not $300+ is to get the knockoff version. These will come from everywhere, you guys. You see them all over Amazon. If you see a Doreen Virtue deck on Amazon that is not being sold by the name Doreen Virtue, it's not real. And I understand Doreen Virtue's not selling them anymore. That's her publisher or her, you know, publishing company that kept that name on those decks, and you'll see those ones are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're very high price, they're very low quantity for that reason. But the fakes that are sold by third-party brands, if you notice your brand names when you're shopping on Amazon, those will always be some really weird third-party name, and you know, they don't just outright in the title say Doreen Virtue Romance Angels deck. It'll be underneath about 17 other titles like playing cards, party game, spirituality, fortune telling, tarot reading, things like that, before you get to the words Doreen Virtue, romance angels. So the reason that I bring that up is because I know a lot of people will be like, but I really need that deck, but it's discontinued and I can't get it, and it's fake, but where do my ethics lie in this? And again, I want to bring up the fact that do whatever, y'all, do it. If you want to get it, do it. Who cares? Nobody's stopping you, okay? Because I have myself looked into Doreen Virtue decks. I have myself found myself looking at so many different places like eBay and Etsy, and connecting with people on Facebook about their couple $100 Doreen Virtue decks. I understand the allure of having it as a collector, of wanting that deck, of not being able to have it, blah 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 blah, thinking that it's going to benefit you so very much to read with that deck. I get it. I do. Sorry, I'm trying to turn on my laptop. It keeps sleeping on me. So that's why I wanted to bring that one up. That one was a really good comment because a lot of people don't know that their Doreen Virtue decks are fake. Most are fake. If you did not buy them during the time that Doreen Virtue was actively making them, you 1000% know that it's fake. It's just, it is. And it's not a big deal. They've been discontinued. Like, there's not anything you can do about that one. So this next one I'm almost done, you guys, I promise. This next one is a really good one. It says, are all my mini decks fake? And how do you know which mini decks are real? This is the one that I was talking about earlier. This is why I brought all those mini decks out, to show you the boxes that do have the ISBN number and the barcodes and the books, because mini decks are a real thing. There are really mini versions of authentic decks. They have been made by the publisher and the artist for people who want a traveling size or a closet size, like a closet altar deck, things like that. That's why your minis exist. And especially your Rider-Waite Smith will come in like 17 different sizes. Doesn't mean it's fake. If it's sold by US game systems, if it's got your barcode, your ISBN, your book, fine. Doesn't mean that it's fake, okay? And this last one that I have here, it's by Liminal 11. I didn't even know that this comment existed, so I wanted to put it in here just kind of as a little shout out, because you guys know Liminal 11 has a lot of bearing on content that I make now, because they have been sending me all of their new stuff as a trusted reviewer, and it means a lot to me, so I wanted to throw this one in there. This was on my Knockoff Tarot Deck Industry video. It says, thank you for making this. It's such a huge problem in the tarot community, and it's not always obvious right away. So the reason that I wanted to put this one in there is because I had a conversation with someone at Liminal 11 at one point in time, asking about how they feel about me making videos about knockoffs, because as you guys know, my knockoff real versus fake videos at 7,000+ views, right? So at one point in time, I did want to make another one, and that means that I do have to purchase a knockoff deck because I don't have any more, and I don't want to ask a friend if I can borrow theirs just to do a video, things like that. So there was a point in time where I really did want to make another one, but it was regarding the Modern Witch, and the Modern Witch is a Liminal 11 deck. So that means that I would have personally been going against the company that I do a lot of work with, and that I have been advocating so hard for, and I do lots of reviews for them. Their name's all over my stuff, and I didn't want to like disappoint anybody in any way by making a knockoff tarot deck video about something they produced. And I'm just going to speak on behalf of myself here. I do not work for Liminal 11. I do not get paid to review for Liminal 11, and this is just my side of what happened, okay? But there was a discussion had where they said that they think it's best not to bring attention to the knockoff tarot deck industry, because people who did not know about it will then see it as a viable option. And this is something that has really haunted me since I had that conversation, because as you guys see, I get comments on this video now like, I didn't know this was a thing. I can't stand this cardstock. I don't like this size. I want a smaller version. I'm gonna go get it. Thank you for making this video. And that's kind of really been bugging me, really hurting me in my heart. I did not make those videos to give you guys a viable option. I did not make those videos for you guys to think, oh, there's a cheaper version, there's a smaller version, there's a thinner version, things like that. It was not made for me bringing attention to an option for you. It was supposed to be the exact opposite of me telling you guys that these should not be an option for you. But again, that was so many months ago, and this is just my personal opinion on this matter. So I don't care what decks you buy, boo-boo. I don't. I really don't. Okay, I want to make that very clear. I love you guys so much. I love the community that we have built here, and I love interacting with you guys and answering your questions about tarot. That will never change, and my channel's not going anywhere anytime soon because I love talking to you guys so much about this. Just because I do not personally buy knockoff tarot decks does not mean that you should not, okay? That does not mean that you are wrong. That does not mean that I am right. There is no right and wrong here. Please do whatever makes your heart sing, whatever you want to do to fuel your divination and your craft and your practice, okay? If you want to buy knockoffs to make them art pieces for your altar, but you have the real one, no one's going to stop you, okay? At the end of the day, my friends, no one is going to stop you, and no one has any say in what you spend your money on, okay? So I want to make that very clear. I want you guys to know how very much I appreciate you, because the fact that a video I made because I was excited about getting a new tarot deck, like an authentic tarot deck, is mind-blowing to me. The fact that I have over 7,000 views on anything I have made ever is amazing, because it's only going to grow. And this video, although it was made 9 months ago, yes, you can still stumble on it very easily. And that's why I wanted to update you guys today. As of, what is it, July 2021, this is where my stance is. This is how I feel about these things. Again, 9 months from now, that might change, okay? So I just really wanted to update those of you who watch all of my videos in succession, my beautiful subscribers who have been here for a long time, any of you guys who just may have stumbled on my knockoff videos, but have never watched anything else I've done. I want you guys to know, like, still here, I'm still making videos, I am growing in my content, I'm growing in the things that I learn and feel about tarot and the tarot deck industry, and I just love having you guys here with me to go on this journey, okay? So if you guys ever have any questions about tarot, you know you can drop them in the comments of any video, and I will do my best to answer them for you. If it's something that I feel like takes a lot more explaining or training or something, I will tell you to message me on Instagram. I don't usually tell you to message me on Facebook. Facebook is kind of where I book my readings. So you guys know you can find my link tree in the description of every video now. You can find everything. All of my links are in there for you. I do also want to make a point to say, if you guys are not keeping up with me on TikTok, that's the best place to do that. I do make more content on TikTok than I do anywhere else. But I've started wire wrapping stones. I'm having tons of fun doing it. So if you guys haven't checked out my shop lately, there's new tarot bags, there's new wire wrap stones. If you guys are seeing this further in the future, I know there's going to be tons more, because I just started wire wrapping bone earrings. I am going to be making some new bleach dyed tarot bags, and I have tons and tons of things coming for you guys in the shop. That's just, you know, my little pet project is the shop. I love the shop. I love making things for the shop. It has nothing to do with, you know, making money off of my content. To be completely honest, these are just things that I want to put my heart into, and I want to give to you guys at a reasonable price, because I love you so much, and I want you guys to have something handmade by me. Everything in the shop is handmade by me, so it takes a long time, and they're available in very small quantities, okay? So I really hope that wherever you guys are, when this video reaches you, my friends, you have a beautiful, wonderful day. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. I know this was a long video, but please give me a big thumbs up. You know, that helps me out so very much, and it's a free way you can support my channel. And, you know, drop a comment, do whatever you guys want. It's nice to see you. It's nice to be here. I'm so happy we have reached 888 subs. What a beautiful, prosperous number that is. And I am so happy to be here with you guys, my friends. So I really cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Namaste.